overrated players. I'm not filming this video.
We won't get roasted. People will agree with us. Come on, Thog Dad.
Only if we get 21,000 likes.
I can promise you, I'll vouch for the TDL that will get 21k.
Okay.
Let's get into our picks.
Okay, let's start with Ecuador, shall we,
Okay.
Theo?
Ecuador! Sorry.
I've gone for Jegson Mendes, Theo. Now, he's a defensive midfielder, 25 years old. And you know what? He's on the bench this season for LAFC. You know what, Jegson? Jog on.
I've got to be real. We're starting with a nation that has mostly underrated talents. But one man who I don't think should be starting is Angel Mena, the 34-year-old winger who's played a few times for Ecuador and his passing isn't up for scratch. He isn't on the same wavelength. He's got good positioning, but I don't think he's good enough if Ecuador want to go out there and beat Qatar on the first day.
Netherlands, I've gone for a 20-year-old central midfielder called Kenneth Taylor. And first question, which 20-year-old is called Kenneth?
Dad.
Your uncle's called Kenneth. I know he's a talent. He's coming to the Ajax team.
He's
He
young.
is smashing it, but he's probably too young. He could be the next Donny van der Beek, and I don't mean that as a
I
compliment.
promise you the Dutch will roast you for your opinion, and I'm going to save our channel and pick Noah Lang as the most overrated. How he got in the Netherlands squad over Arnout Danjuma shocks me. Now this season for Bruges, he's less of a key player. He's in and out of the team. He wanted to leave. He didn't get what he wanted. His attitude just stinks.
Qatar, and to be honest, Theo, nobody is rated at Qatar, so
Right, yeah.
I'm not going to say anyone.
And I think there's going to be a lot of names after this Qatar World Cup that are going to be smashing it and potentially go to top 5 European leagues.
Ooh.
But for now, I'm going to say no one. I agree.
So let's move on to Senegal, and
Yes.
I'm going to insult a lot of Chelsea fans here, because I'm saying Edouard Mendy, Theo,
Ooh.
who when he came to Chelsea was an upgrade, wasn't he, on Kepa?
Edouard Mendy, Dad.
But, Theo,
he's one of the best players.
Yes, he is, but he's nowhere near the Edisons, the Allisons, the De Geas, the Llorises, so he's a good goalkeeper, but nothing more.
My pick is Ismaila Sarr. For once was wanted by half the Premier League table, is again playing in a championship. And this season, do you know what? He's got, in 17 games, 6 goals. It's not a thriller. He's not the player he once was. I don't know what it is, motivation. Maybe he wanted to leave and didn't get the deal he wants. You know, with agent talks, things break down. And I don't think Ismaila Sarr was the player that people light him up to be.
And now for England. I
sure
don't
we'll
know
agree.
how to say this,
agree.
Theo,
Go
but
on, yeah.
John Stones.
That's funny. Is the best England centre-back.
John
The most
Stones.
overrated pick is Harry Maguire.
I've gone for John Stones.
No,
now,
you haven't.
I think he's
No.
a good player, but not a great
Fuck
player.
that! You're a mug! John Stones is the best. In fact, he's underrated. He will carry that defence when we need it. He'll play every game under Southgate. You're a mug.
This was the hardest one, Theo, because you look at every England name.
No.
They're all good.
Yeah, this ain't going to be easy. I've picked Phil Foden as my most overrated England player.
Wait a minute. Someone's just entered the room. You know who it is?
Who is it? Is it Beadle?
It's Jeremy Beadle. Yeah,
No.
Jeremy Beadle's entered the room because you said Phil Foden for a laugh. Okay, right. Give us your real pick.
I know you love Foden. It's your second son.
Give us your real pick.
I'm sorry, Phil, and I know he'll probably watch this video as well. He's a great lad.
He's brilliant, Theo.
I don't wanna say
He's
it.
one
I
of
don't
the
wanna
best
say it.
footballers in the world.
I'm going to
He's
have to
not
fight
overrated.
my corner. I'm going to have to fight my corner.
Go on
here.
then, try.
For club, he is spectacular.
Yes.
He's got a 110 million price tag, more than Jude Bellingham, more than Harry Kane, more than everybody in the squad. By that logic, he's someone who should dominate and start every game for England. When have you seen him play well for England?
I have, Theo, at the Euros. I mean, he hit the post in the first minute.
Weird, but the fact you've just brought it to a message of when he hit the post, that is part of the problem. The level he sets for his club is not the same level he hits for international football, and that is why, I'm sorry, he's the most current overrated England player.
Iran, and this
Yes.
one should be very interesting, Theo.
Oh, no,
I've
no,
gone
no.
for a player
Don't mention it. Don't
who,
say
in
it.
the Premier League, 50 games, 2 goals, 1 assist. Okay, those goals were good goals. Jahan Bash, I'm sorry, you are colossally overrated. You're on the bench at the moment
0
for Feyenoord.
goals for Feyenoord in the Eredivisie.
Yes.
I'm sorry, it's not good enough. Everybody in Iran roasted us when we called him the most overrated player at Brighton in our video last year. We got killed. We're going to get absolutely destroyed
I
again.
don't
in
care,
fact,
Theo.
I'm not going into that stadium when England play Iran. I'm going to stay in England because I'm scared. He's the only one with a price tag in the top 3 players after Taremi and Azmoun. Azmoun's my Zenit boy. Taremi's actually very good at football. Jahanbach isn't. I'm not worried about him.
The United States of America, I've gone with the captain, Theo, Walker Zimmerman. Now, the fans rave about this
Yes.
fella, but he's never really proven it outside the MLS.
Isn't he El Capitano?
He's El Capitano, he plays for Nashville.
He's the GOAT. Him and Tim Ream are holding it down, dog. One man that just ain't hitting it the same is Jordan Morris. You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. You're a left winger. You're 28 years old. You play for Seattle Sounders, and in 29 games this season, you only hit the back of the net 7 times, bro. You shouldn't be on the America squad, and Pepe deserved the call-up over you. I'm sorry, dude.
Wales, I've gone for a man who was a legend in his day at Spurs, at Real Madrid, but he isn't any longer. Gareth Bale, you are finished. You're going to do nothing against England.
You've just jinxed it. That's the one man I'm worried about. He could do nothing for a year and turn up in the biggest game in football.
Brilliant in his day. He's 33 now. He's out in the MLS. Good for him, making some money, playing some golf. I respect that.
We're going to get
But he's not an elite footballer anymore.
Every Welshman hates us now. My pick for Wales, he's so overrated. He's going to do nothing in the group. It's Gareth Bale. I agree with you, Thogden. Everything you said, it was spot on. People say he's worth billions and billions. He's 33. He's in the MLS. He's doing nothing. He's gonna fall away.
And Donald, was the election stolen from you?
It was stolen. Every moment of it.
Everybody get into the comments and rate that Donald Trump accent out of 10. I'm thinking a 2.1. Argentina, I've gone for Paulo Dybala, Theo. Now, I know what you're going to say. He's having a decent season at Roma, but his record for the national team is not good. 3 goals. It's like a goal every 11 games. If you're a second striker, you've got to put it in the onion bag.
To be honest, Roma fans treat him like he's a god. Not only is he not match fit, he's not good enough to be in that Argentina team. Say what you want, the guy can't adapt. We've never seen him do it outside of the Serie A. And even when he played with Ronaldo, his performances dropped off. He only knew one system where he smashed it at Palermo and had a couple good years at Juve, and since then the guy's washed.
Mexico, and I'm sorry to say this, because this fella back in the day was a legend, 29 goals for a country.
Yeah.
Raul Jimenez.
It's such a shame, but I do agree with you. The man was once bagging goals for fun in the Premier League. He's not the same anymore. I hope he finds his feet in Qatar, but the fact he made the squad, he's overrated. I'm sorry.
And I think, Theo, you've got to put your health before football. Maybe it's time for him to retire and move on to the next stage of his life. Poland, I've gone for a centre-back called Jan Bednarek. We all know the name, Theo, but these days he's not the player he was. He's warming the bench on loan at Villa, I think.
But who rates him?
Few people do, Theo. I think in Poland, because he's played in the Premier League, he's rated.
Okay, well, I've gone with Krzysztof Piatek. Now, there's been too many times where I've watched this guy just drop howlers. I'm sorry, he was once worth 40 million at AC Milan. The guy's not good enough. He's only scored 3 goals in the Serie A for Salernitana. I'm not reading a menu. That is the name of a football club in Italy.
And finally in Group C, Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry, nobody is rated, therefore no one is overrated.
Well, this is the thing. Again, I'm looking forward to learning some new names and finding some special talents within this squad. But right now, no one, I believe, is overrated in the Saudi squad. We agree.
Australia, I've gone for Dani Vukovic, Theo, the veteran goalkeeper, who's had a poor season in the A-League so far. I think he's conceded 9 goals in 5 games.
Yes.
And really, I'm not sure why he's there. I'm not sure what he brings to the table.
Do you know what? For Australia, I'm going with a man that Australians keep overrating. And I've had enough of it. Garang Kuol. He's 18 years old. He's a centre-forward who plays for Newcastle soon. And he was at the Marinas and, he was smashing it in the Australian League. Give him his own chance to make a name for himself before telling everybody about him. You know, when you're 18 years old and the pressure is already on you because of your national team.
Denmark, I've gone with Martin Brathwaite, Theo. Now, he used to play at Barcelona. He's been all over the shop. And he's never really scored that many goals. He's a guy who scores a goal every 5 games. Is that good enough?
He's not really rated. That's the problem.
But he played for Barcelona, so obviously he's rated.
I think they've got so many new players that are going to keep Damsgaard on the bench. It's a new generation, Denmark. They're my underdogs. They're my dark horses. I don't think Damsgaard is the man anymore.
France, I've gone for a man who's been a bit of a legend over the years. 42 goals for his country, but these days, Theo, Antoine Griezmann, I'm not sure he should be there. You've got the likes of Nkunku, who I think come above him in the pecking order.
I think Nkunku is injured now.
Right.
So Griezmann will have to play, and I don't think he'll do well.
No.
But he's got a lot to prove because he's been ass for Atletico. They didn't even make it to the Champions League or Europa League. They got knocked out of Europe, didn't they? I'll defend Griezmann. He usually turns up for Nation. I'm not going to pick him, but I will go for the man who's the highest rated player in the world. Kylian Mbappe is my overrated pick for France. When France in 3rd place in the group behind Australia and Denmark, and they're crashed out because of the winner curse, who's going to be laughing? This man will score no more than 4 goals. If Kylian Mbappe scores more than 4 goals, I'll give away 300 Mars bars. Mbappe's a fraud, mate, and he's not going to have a good tournament, and you're going to all see it.
Wow, I think that is your Rory Jennings moment. Everyone is reaching for the clip button there because Kylian Mbappe...
Clip me up. Clip me
is
up all you want.
possibly, probably the best player in the world. Tunisia now, I've gone for Hannibal Mejbri, Theo, who cost 10 million euros from Monaco, went to Man United. He's now at Birmingham, hasn't scored a goal all season. He's famous for his hair, let's be honest.
A guy who plays in the Championship is not rated.
He came on for a few minutes for Man United and suddenly he's the next Messi. He's overrated.
My overrated pick for Tunisia is Wabi Kazri, the 31-year-old striker. He's scored lots of goals for Tunisia, so the bar he's set for himself is very high. I just don't think he'll reach that at the Qatar World Cup.
Costa Rica, lovely country, lovely people. I'm not going to be negative. I've chosen nobody. Nobody's overrated at Costa Rica.
And do you know what? I was looking through that whole squad. I was just thinking everybody here is either not rated on a European level or they're underrated. These are players that I think will do well, but one man who I think will be slightly overrated, he played for Sunderland against Bolton and we were at the match and he got absolutely destroyed by Gary Medine.
Medine.
Oviedo.
Goal machine.
The 32-year-old.
Gary Medine.
Dad, I'm reading out the
goal
name.
Machine.
Gary Medine destroyed him. So, for that reason in itself, Brian Oviedo is overrated. I'm sorry, Costa Rica fans.
Germany, I've gone for Karim Adeyemi.
Yeah.
I know you might criticise me. He's 20 years old. He's a right winger. He plays for Borussia Dortmund. I just think he's had a really poor season.
You know when Jurgen Klopp goes... That's how I feel right now.
You've got to be ready, Theo. When you get the national call-up, you've got to be smashing it. You've got to be
What's
ready.
he done wrong? He's just been called up to the squad and people are already putting him down like you. My Germany pick is a man who's not good enough anymore. 3 goals in 13 matches for Chelsea. You guessed it. Kai Havertz. He's overrated. People were once saying he deserves to win a Ballon d'Or. He's nowhere near that now. I'm sorry, the guy's overly hyped. But let's move over to Japan. Who is your most overrated? But I find this really tough.
I don't find this tough at all, Theo, because it's Minamino, who came to Liverpool, Theo, 40 games in the Premier League, 6 goals. He was a flop at Liverpool.
That's so rude.
He's not doing too well at Monaco either.
After everything I've said, I agree. Takumi Minamino, the 25-year-old, I was at his highest moment as a footballer, where he scored that goal that made Liverpool sign him against Salzburg in the Champions League a few years ago. Jurgen Klopp was laughing and decided to sign him. Since then, he's flopped at Liverpool and flopped at Southampton. Was he given a good enough chance? To be honest, he was given the minutes. He doesn't make a difference for being an attacking player enough.
Spain now, and it's time for my Rory Jennings moment, Theo, because this lad, he's a central midfielder, he's 19 years old, and my problem is his price tag. I'm talking about Pedri.
Huh?
I'm talking about Pedri.
Overrated.
Who is rated as a €100 million player, and so far I've not seen that. He's a very good player. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I think he's overrated.
Are you fair enough to make that judgment? Have you watched him enough?
I've seen him on the TV box. I mean, you've seen him in real life more than I have. I admit that. So tell me, am I wrong?
He's a hard-working player. He never loses the ball. He's someone that can fit a top-level club system and be worth £100 million. He's young. He's played at Manchester City and Barcelona. Do you know the name yet?
Yes, it's Garcia, isn't it?
Eric Garcia. No Thiago, no Ramos, but you bring Garcia... This guy will only make mistakes. He's not good enough to be playing and representing a country as good as Spain.
He's 21 years old. He's got a lot to learn about life and about football. You're 21,
my God.
Theo.
What, you didn't protect Pedri? He's 19.
I know. That's true.
You can't say that. I'm sorry.
Belgium. I'm going for a man with an incredible scoring record wherever he goes.
Let me guess.
Go on then.
It's Eden Hazard, isn't it? You put him as...
Theo, bear with me, because this guy, if you count up all the transfer fees paid by Inter Milan, Chelsea, Man United,
okay.
It comes to a very big number. Romelu Lukaku, I just think he's overrated.
He's someone who could score quite a few goals, though. Are you worried that he's going to make you eat his words?
Well, it goes back to this thing when I said about Pedri. This guy was a €100 million player. And really,
I'm worried.
Not.
I agree with you. I've said Rom. But I know the guy could just score some goals. He's around Trossard and De Bruyne, for God's sake. The guy's going to get chances, and he does take them. The reason I didn't pick Eden Hazard... He's not rated anymore. The guy was once the best footballer on the ball in the world. Not Jeremy Lynch, Eden Hazard. At Real Madrid, it's so easy to stay the best. We've seen that with every other player that's gone to that club. For him, it's something different. It's a mental fight.
Canada, once again, Theo, nobody. I can't say that anyone is overrated in that squad.
Well, Alphonso Davies has proved himself. But I've gone and done my research. And here's one man who I don't think is good enough to start in the 11 for Canada. Richie Laryea. He's a right back, can play left back as well. He's got the physical side, but technically and his positioning is not good enough to be the fullback when you're coming up against Belgium. I'm sorry, these guys are going to tear him a new one, and I'm really worried. Even like Perisic at Croatia could absolutely destroy this guy.
Croatia, I've gone with Andre Kramaric, Theo,
Yes.
who I think is a good player, but I think he's declined in the last 3 years. I mean, over his career, he'll get you a goal every 4 games. But I'm sorry, maybe you should be looking to a younger player.
He is part of the problem. He is not good enough at the clubs he goes to. His record for Hoffenheim, 3 goals in 14 games? And for Croatia, his record, he's got a few goals for them, but he's not a game changer, especially in the big moments. At 31 years old, I agree, he's too overrated.
I've gone for Bono, the goalkeeper, not the singer
Dad!
at U2, because I think this season, I'm being a bit harsh maybe, this season he's been poor.
He's not even rated, and I think he's going to put up a good performance for Morocco. He's got something to prove after a poor, severe season. My pick is Hakim Ziyech. He's back in the squad because they've changed managers. He once had a real problem with the gaffer. He got kicked out the squad. We didn't see him at AFCON. That's all changed for the World Cup. He will be there, and he is overrated. I'm sorry.
I don't think he's overrated. I think he's a very good player.
Dad, the level he put himself at Ajax and the way people spoke of him when he made that move to Chelsea, he's not good enough. His performances for Chelsea have not been good enough. It's as simple as that.
Brazil, and it has to be Lucas Paqueta, Theo. Now, he's gone to West Ham for 43 million euros. That is a very high price tag.
That's
this
a harsh
is a lad.
pick.
I tell you what, Theo, AC Milan, his stats were very poor. This is an attacking midfielder.
Thog Dad, you're just absolutely roasting him. I think he needs time to adapt to the Premier League. It's a new place for him. He might need to understand a bit more English. But I think for Brazil, he's a good backup to have. He's the final name on that midfielder list. And one name I must mention is Rafinha. The 25-year-old right winger was once underrated at Leeds. And then he started to get in the press. Everybody started to speak about him. He got that big money move to Barcelona. And I'm sorry, since he's gone there, this season he scored, 2 goals in La Liga? He sold his soul when he made that move away from the Premier League. That hurt me a little bit. He's not going to be a Brazilian legend. There's players like Vini Jr. and Neymar that will. He can't get in that team.
Cameroon, I've gone for Vincent Abubakar, Theo, and I'm going to annoy a lot of people because
he's their best player.
He's a club legend, 33 goals for his country. My criticism, Theo, he's not challenged himself at the highest level. He's played in the Portuguese league. He's playing at Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia, for goodness sake.
My pick is somehow, you'll never heard of this guy. No one in Europe's ever heard of you. Jerome Mbekele, the 24-year-old left winger. He's not rated by anybody apart from the manager who decided to bring him to Qatar. There's many Cameroonian talents in the French league, English leagues, even in the Championship, who deserve that space in the forward line. And you bring him...
Serbia, it has to be Dusan Vlahovic, Theo. Juventus paid 82 million euros for this lad.
And he's not rated on that level anymore because his goal-scoring record hasn't been as good as he thinks.
I mean, it's been all right this season. 6 goals, I think, in 10 games.
He can break ceilings higher than that, though.
Some people are talking about him as being at the same level as the Haalands of this world, and he's nowhere near.
The one who's overrated and shouldn't be near the squad is Luka Jovic. He was once a Real Madrid wonder kid, the next big thing. And now, I'm sorry, his record for Fiorentina, 3 goals in a club that are 10th in the league, it's not good enough. And he won't be the man to start for Serbia. He shouldn't be.
Switzerland, it has to be Xherdan Shaqiri, Theo. Wherever he's gone, Inter, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, he's been overrated. I know he's a fun, exciting player. He gets the occasional wonder goal.
I think that's a little bit rude because he's getting older and he does live for those World Cup moments.
Yes.
You never hear of him at a club level. So my pick is a man you don't hear much of at club level because he can't get in the squad. At Chelsea, Dennis Zakaria.
Right.
There's a reason Juve shifted him on so quick. I don't know what it is, but there's also a reason he's not playing for Chelsea. The man once rated so highly is not getting any minutes. The 25-year-old holding midfielder. I'm sorry. He's overrated.
Ghana, it's got to be Jordan Ayew. Now, I know he's scored, 19 goals for his country during his time, but I'm sorry, he's living off past glories.
Yeah.
He hasn't got a single goal for Crystal Palace this year. I think he got 1 assist.
It's not good enough for the Premier League, and at the World Cup, Ghana need new fiery talents on the wing who want to prove themselves. Loads of potential, not Jordan Ayew. He's a water carrier. He'll work hard, but he will not get contributions. I agree.
Portugal, this is very easy. It is João Felix, Theo. This is a lad. Atletico Madrid paid, I think, 130 million euros for this lad. I've never believed the hype. He scored 3 goals for his country. He's an okay striker, nothing more.
Here's why you're a mug. You're correct.
I thought you were going to go for Ronaldo. I thought you were going to roast Ronaldo.
Here's a mug. You're a mug because you're correct.
Yeah.
But he's not rated. You speak to your old Dan down the pub, and he's not saying João Felix is the best in the world.
Yeah, but Dan knows nothing about football.
They are saying Cristiano Ronaldo. That is why he is the most overrated player in this Portugal team. The guy is a drama queen. He's crying in peers' ears. I'm sorry, he's not good enough to play for Portugal. You're 37, mate. You're not the player you used to be. Pack it in. I'm sorry, you're finished. Ten Hag was right. She dropped him at the right time. United need to look beyond him. The way that club improves is by getting him out. He is a leech. He is toxic. He should be nowhere near the Man United and Portugal squad. I'm sorry.
He's no longer an elite footballer.
Yep.
And it's very hard for him to cope with that. South Korea, it's got to be Hwang Hee-chan,
Yes.
who just hasn't delivered for Wolves. He was good in his RB Salzburg days in the Austrian league. He's not prolific, is he?
Yeah, he's not really rated, so I haven't picked him because he's had such a bad time at Wolves. I've gone for Hwang Ui-jo, the 30-year-old striker for Olympiacos. He's had a pretty bad record. I don't think he's scored at all this season, and Forest paid $4 million for him.
I thought about picking Joe Mama.
Let's just quickly move on to Uruguay. Who have you gone for?
I've gone for Sebastian Coates, Theo, ex-Liverpool, ex-Sunderland. Now, he's got discipline problems. I've never really rated it. I'm sorry, Sebastian.
I completely agree with you, and I don't even think he plays in that centre-back position anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's carried by Martin Caceres and Sebastian Caceres. And my pick is Martin Caceres, the 35-year-old centre-back who's playing for LA Galaxy. I don't believe is good enough to be starting for Uruguay, and will be exposed at the World Cup if he continues to do so.
Right, I think we're going to get absolutely roasted.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
that.
get killed.
I'm still getting over that Kylian Mbappe thing, but 21,000 likes.
We're not
please.
gonna hit it. It's gonna be 21,000 dislikes.
Yeah.
We have just torn every nation in the World Cup a new one, and there's much more World Cup coming your way. Should we go there?
Let's go. Let's go and get on a plane. I'll see. I'm gonna pack my bags.
Yeah, I wish. Oh, he's broken Beadle. He's broken. Oh my God, he's broken Beadle. You've smashed Beadle. Dad, you're such a mug.